Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on behind your TV screen? You know, the shows you love, the channels you flick through. It turns out they're all part of this constant, fascinating battle for your attention. So let's dive in and unpack the forces that have shaped British television for more than half a century.
It really all comes down to a simple question, one you've probably asked yourself while you're sitting on the sofa waiting for your show to start again. Why are there ad breaks during Love Island, but never, ever during an episode of Strictly Come Dancing? The answer to that one question, well, it pretty much explains everything about how British TV really works, and that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
First, though, let's get a little perspective. Back in the 1960s, television was a completely different world. I mean, you had maybe 3 channels to choose from, most TVs were still in black and white, and if you wanted to change the channel, you actually had to get up. Now, fast forward to today, and we are just swimming in a sea of endless choice, streaming whatever we want, whenever we want, on any device we own. It's been a massive, massive shift. At the very heart of this whole story are 2 giants, and they were built with completely different purposes. On one side, you've got the BBC, which is all about the idea of public service, and on the other, you have ITV, which is driven by private profit. These 2 opposing ideas are basically the source code for everything we see on British TV.
So, what is the BBC's mission? Well, it's all captured in this one famous phrase: to inform, educate, and entertain. Their job as a public service broadcaster isn't to make money. It's to provide a benefit to the public. That means everything from news you can trust, to documentaries that teach you something, to top-tier entertainment.
ITV's mission, on the other hand, is crystal clear, and it is all about business. As a commercial company, its #1 job is to make a profit. And how does it do that? By creating shows that get millions and millions of people watching, which then attracts advertisers who are willing to pay a lot of money to get their products in front of all those eyeballs.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. The BBC's public service mission, it's paid for by the license fee, which is how we get shows like Strictly. ITV's commercial mission is funded by advertising, and that's what gives us huge ratings hits like Love Island. 2 titans, 2 totally different game plans.
Okay, so how do these completely different missions actually get paid for? Honestly, following the money is the most important part of the story, because it dictates pretty much everything: what kind of shows get made, who they're for, and why their strategies are just so different.
For the BBC, the funding all comes from this number, the TV license fee. It's about £174.50 a year for every household in the UK that watches live TV or uses the BBC iPlayer. It's a legally required payment, and it funds pretty much the whole shebang.
And here's the crucial thing about the license fee. It's designed to keep the BBC independent. Because it's funded by us, the public, it doesn't have to answer to advertisers or to shareholders. Its only real responsibility is to the audience. That freedom is exactly why the BBC can take a chance on a quirky niche drama that a commercial channel might never touch. ITV's model is a really powerful, self-fueling cycle. It's pretty simple, really. Step 1, you create a show that everyone wants to watch. Step 2, you sell ad space during that show to big brands. Step 3, you take all that money you just made and pour it back into making even more popular shows. It's a system that just loves massive, broad appeal entertainment.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just a lawless battle for viewers, a total free-for-all. But it's not. There's actually a referee on the field, making sure everybody plays by the rules. And that referee is called Ofcom.
So Ofcom is the independent regulator for, well, pretty much all communications in the UK. But when it comes to TV, its main job is to protect the public. That's you and me. They set the standards for what can be shown and make sure that what we're watching is fair and isn't harmful or overly offensive.
And one of the most important rules Ofcom enforces is the watershed. It's a really simple but super effective idea. Before 9 p.m., everything on TV has to be suitable for pretty much everyone, including kids. But after 9 p.m., broadcasters get the green light to show more adult stuff, with the really strong material usually held back until after 10. So we have our 2 big players with their different missions, and we've got the referee keeping things in line. But in the last 20 years or so, a brand new player entered the game and completely tore up the rulebook. And that player, of course, was technology.
The first absolute game changer was streaming. By sending content over the internet, it completely broke us free from the rigid schedules of old-school TV. All of a sudden, you could watch an entire series in one go. The viewer, not the broadcaster, was finally in charge.
Then there's time shifting, which put even more power in our hands. This is basically any way you watch a show after it's been broadcast, whether you record it, use a catch-up service like iPlayer, or just watch the +1 channel. The big takeaway here, the TV schedule now works around your life, not the other way around.
And what makes all this possible is something called convergence. It's the way that content now just follows you seamlessly from one device to another. You can start a show on your big TV, keep watching it on your tablet on the bus, and finish it on your phone. The screen keeps changing, but the experience stays the same.
And finally, we've got second screening. I mean, come on, how many of us watch a big show while we're also scrolling through social media or texting our friends about it? This has turned TV from something you just passively watch into a proper interactive social event.
You know, what's really funny about this list is just how normal it all sounds to us now. Binge watching a whole series, live tweeting, catching up on your phone, even just pausing live TV to go make a cup of tea. We take all of this completely for granted, but each one of these things represents a total revolution in how we watch television.
And because of all this change, broadcasters now have to use two different strategies at once. They still go after that huge mass audience during prime time with shows that everyone can watch, like Britain's Got Talent. But they also now have to cater to niche audiences, with special channels like BBC Three for younger people or CITV for kids.
But you know what's incredible? With all of this change, one classic TV habit has managed to survive: appointment viewing. For the really big TV moments, the World Cup final, the last episode of a huge drama, we still clear our schedules to watch it live, all driven by that classic fear of missing out.
So there you have it. That original question we started with, why the ads on ITV? It all comes down to this. The BBC is funded by you to serve you, so no ads are needed. ITV is funded by advertisers to serve them, so its entire schedule is built around those ad breaks. It's these two completely different missions that have defined British television for decades.
But all of this leads us to one final, really important question. Today, in a world dominated by global streaming giants like Netflix and Amazon, with their own rules and their absolutely massive budgets, can these two very different, very British models for making television actually survive? Now that's something to think about the next time you turn on your TV.